cars. So in order to help that industry, and that's really, handmade stuff. And they've been doing it for a long time in the same location. And I said, yeah, that would be good. Let's help them out with that one. But that's different than a car company that comes out and makes millions of cars, which they'll be doing in our country. They're going to build, we have many factories, car plants being built or going to be built very soon. I think we can say that we'll be close to $10 trillion of investment. I think we're actually at that number now if you add up some of the ones we haven't heard about yet. I mean, we have some going up right now. They have plans going up and they haven't even spoken to us. They're doing it because of the tariffs. And tariffs have always been used against us. And I never understood. I used to sit back. As you know, China paid hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs when I was president. But until then, China never paid anything. And, they really did a big number on us from the standpoint of trade. But we are using tariffs now for our benefit. And
what's going on, Tim, Tina?
Close to $10 trillion. Think of that, $10 trillion. If you look at the past administration, and we're talking about over, essentially 2 months, because we could say 3, but it took a little while to get the office in perfect shape, right? It took a little while to get things done. But once we started, when you think of that, close to $10 trillion of investment, you've had years where the United States wouldn't do that wouldn't do $1 trillion in a year.
I've got about 20 minutes left or so of that little live stream. I'll watch it after. He was about 45 minutes late this morning. He was supposed to be on at 10 o'clock and came on like 10:45. So after he was talking for a little bit, got a nice little ripski in the markets. Seemed to be taken fairly well. And then I saw he was in talks with China. They were attempting to make a deal after China's been strong-arming the States for a while. Seems like they are interested in actually progressing and moving forward. And did you guys hear Trump's comment? He's like, it's a good time to buy stocks now. The country's going to be like a rocket ship. It's going to go straight up. It's going to be like a rocket ship. It's time to buy stocks now. Buy them. Buy them before they go up. It'll be beautiful. Buy the stocks. Hitch a ride on the rocket. Elon Musk has rockets. They're very beautiful rockets. Okay. Looks like a little USAR idea is working. I haven't taken a position on it yet, but you can see that daily. You get this little bouncing ball action right in this little flat bottom. 9/10s starts to fail here. Under the 3-day low, you've got 10/16, 10/16, 10/28. And once it gets below, pretty good fails. I don't hate the idea of another swing here. I just think it's a bit tougher, but I also think waiting for that 9/10 isn't a terrible idea either. Worth keeping on watch. Sep had a little ripski today through that 35 level and got stuffed pretty damn hard. Still kind of looking at this as a big head and shoulders. It doesn't look super strong to me. Pony, another day higher. I don't really have a ton of FOMO on this. It's choppy. It's hard to hold. Like this thing opens, it drops almost $2 a share, $1.60 or so. Like right off opening chop consolidation. And it just gets tanked, dumped on, and then it just rips all the way higher. This just isn't typical price action that I'm used to seeing. So, Don't really care for that one. Omax, little double bottom there on the daily, starting to firm up. Hasn't had any volume come back in, but trend is still holding. Nvidia, I was pretty close to buying this one today. I drew this little lower high trend line that started breaking here in the 50-cent area. I didn't really have a good risk level to use in mind, and I'm thinking this 56 break was the key, not just buying a dip. And now we broke that 56 in after hours, so see where we're gapping tomorrow. But this daily looks good, especially after that candle. It's fairly bullish. I think risking down to like 30 cents is the level that'll keep you out of chop, but the risk reward is kind of shot. So I think like a 56 break, either risk prior day's lows or current day's lows, and look to join that trend. I had tried AGMH with super small, like 1/5 size, until it started to break over 11. We got a straight up spike right through it. So I chased some with like 1/10, scooped a pullback with like 1/5, and then was going to add versus a low a day risk if it got back over 11, and it never did. So it was just a pop and fail. So I ended up moving on under low a day, 10 cents anyways, but lost less than a penny on super small size, so I don't really care. GPUS, this one started to break out today, but it's just too straight up for me to want to chase a breakout through 9 after it just bounced from 4. So not really a shock to me that it failed. Maybe this retakes 9 and has a choppy breakout like Pony, but again, not really upset about missing it. Not really excited about trading it. Seems to be the trend with a bunch of these names. ASST, this one's setting up really well. So the plan from the watch list yesterday was I was only looking to short a gap. If we got a 70% plus gap, and coming into the open we were only up about 50%. So that was an immediate red flag. I hopped on the broadcast with Investors Underground this morning. And I said, I think there's an opportunity, like a reactive trade with a stuff through pre-market highs for a slam. And you got that right off the open. It popped through, slammed. But if you're not covering, now you aren't in a reactive trade anymore. Now you're thinking you nailed a top. And then you get a couple pulls. Once 580s fails to follow through, you get another pullback, but pulls back to those 490s. That was the bottom end of that range, all in pre-market, that never failed. Same thing here. Tried to push VWAP, slammed, but overall held 490s. So with all those being said, it was not a short for me today. And when I avoid multi-day runners, I like when they go higher. And now I think we're in like the kids playbook where it runs for 2 days and look to trade it on day 3. So this one's up 150%. It's gapping up in after hours, closed somewhere in here in the mid 7s, so it's up like $1. So ideally, gap up, set its high a day, and look for opening range breaks, some failed fall through, and look to get a first red day out of this. The 4 EMA is down in the 4s, which is a long way away. The 10 EMA is at 2. The 20 EMA is at 1.5. The 50 is sub $1. It's super extended from its moving averages. It's super extended from its 4 EMA, and volume is continuing higher. So I will look for a first red day on that one. Devs completely gave up trend today. Steady fizzle. And then a couple percent gainers here. Zkin, fireworks and after hours, but first green day. If it's gapping up 70% plus, I might take one try at it. Short it, risk wide to high day or pre-market highs or something like that. If we're not gapping up over 70%, then I'll just let it do its thing. And V got smoked in after hours, so it's still up 80%. It was a lot better up here at 7 than 4, but good runner nonetheless. So I will keep USAR on watch for that 9-10 breakdown. GUR, I still think these few days it's popping and failing. I think I want to take another entry on it and maybe risk to like 1560s, because I think this does retest its 200 at $12, but I no longer have a position. But it's consolidating under these 15s that was the prior support that's now becoming resistance. So I think I could take a re-entry on that. USAR, look for a breakdown. Those are both swing ideas. ASST, possible first red day. And Invinny, I think, is a possible long swing. Breakthrough 56s. Look to join that trend. Would have to hold it for a few days because it's still pretty far away from 70-cent breakout. So, but now I keep saying it, we've pushed, pulled, lower high, and then once it does this, can you draw a rectangle? Yeah. Once it does this, so from this day here on 4/29 to this day here on 5/5, this is like the framework that it goes on a run, overextension, pullback, overextended to the downside, bounce. So you get 1, 2, 3 trade opportunities right here, whether you get long early, whether you short the para, whether you dip by the bounce, and whether you short the bounce into prior resistance. So I guess it's more like 4 opportunities right here. And once you get this over here, I don't know where it's going to go. It's either going to break the recent low or break the recent high, and in between there is just chop. So now that we're coming back up into those 56s and it breaks over it, if it does, then I think odds favor it to the upside. Over here, we're getting close down to 30s, but if you're shorting down here, it never broke. If you're buying down here, it could have broke. Like just wait for edge, wait for it to break and prove outside of that. Much easier when you just wait. Wait. I just found out something crazy today, that in Ontario, over on the east coast of Canada, their milk comes in a bag. Not a jug, not a carton, a bag. They drink bags of milk. I'm not proud to be Canadian anymore. I couldn't believe it. I was texting one of my friends over there to confirm, because I heard about it today. And he confirmed. That's my go-to joke. When I see a fat person, I tell them they look like a bag of milk. Once I hop off here, I think I'm going to hit the gym early enough. Got quite a bit of evening left. Might as well. Tesla, this one's probably worth watching too. I had tried that one on this day. We had this little lower high break. But I'm going to wait for a 295 break and just buy it over 295 and risk the low a day, whatever that is. And then let it be what it's going to be. TSLL. So leveraged ETF or whatever of Tesla. That breakthrough 11 looks good there. I think TSLD isn't. There's a bunch of them. TSLT? Yeah, that's what it is. They're all the same thing. Might as well just trade Tesla. What's your take on IBO? Nice run, nice pull back into 50 cents. Yeah, no real take on it. It's just like a dead cat bounce after stocks go on these runs. Like, unless this were to get back to 3, like prior support to become resistance. I don't have a trade in it. I don't long this. I don't short it because there's too many people bagged. I just need to see it run like crazy. If it were to have ran here, 30 cents to a buck to 2, gap up, mid 2s into 3, something like that, then it'd be like an A grade setup for like a parabolic short. But this is never something I'm looking to buy. I typically like breakouts. Oh, excuse me. I like breakouts for my front side longs, but I won't buy breakouts if there's recent resistance within 100% or if there's resistance within the last year. And this one's got both. So I wouldn't long it. I'd only short it. And I just needed a hell of a lot higher to short it. Waiting for a decent trade setup so I can test out my hotkeys. See if I programmed them right or if I'm going to lose $1 million trying to use them. Click a button, try to risk 1R and oh, there goes 50K. Something like it said in the disclaimer when setting up the hotkeys, always try it in a sim account first. I'm like, meh. I'll just click the button and see what happens. Do you think Sezzle can be a good short to fill the gap because it's a small cap and it went up 50% today? Let me look up 50% gainer today and I can see what Sezzle is. I don't know. Is it up after hours? Sorry, I don't see. I'm guilty for calling tickers names, so I'm all for calling something Sezzle, but I do not know what ticker you're referring to. MRIN still keeping 140s on watch for a break and build. I've still got it on my list, but now we're coming into like T+2, which is past the current settlement period. If we were to get any volume to come back in, I likely would still try and trade it. But now that the time frame in which it's happening has expanded, I think the odds are a bit lower, so I'd probably reduce size. It wouldn't be like a full R, I don't think. But I'll definitely keep it on watch. MSTR, I freaking hate this stock, man. I don't know if you understand how much I hate this company. I don't know how this ends well ever. Doesn't make any sense. He just buys Bitcoin every frickin' day. Doesn't make any sense. SEZL. Sezzle. Large cap. Rail company. Looks like earnings. This isn't really something I would trade. You're coming up into some looking left, but I'm not super interested in it. You spoke about MRN yesterday. Yes, I did. But at 140 isn't our bad, risking 120 or 115. I definitely wouldn't be risking a daily level. I wouldn't be risking down to here. It would be a buy 140s, risk low a day. I'd be risking like 5 to 10 cents. Like if this were to break 140 this morning, it would have been risking like towards 130. Yeah, I'm definitely not risking down to the daily lows. I only risk like multi-day levels if like something like in Vinny, for example, where if I'm buying a pullback like somewhere in here in the chop, I'm going to risk to 30 cents because that's the level that this thing is dead. With a pattern like MRIN, when it breaks 140, I'm expecting buy-ins and covers to come in immediately, and it should be going to 140 within the next, or to 180 within the next 20 to 30 minutes. If it's not trending and volume continuing to rush in, then there's no covers coming in, there's no longs re-entering the stock. I'm not looking to stick around. So I'm not looking to be patient on a setup like that. I don't want to be in it any longer than I have to. So the risk reward is fine through 140, just as long as you're not risking 115. Same thing with GER. Like when I was short GER, that was a bigger picture setup. So when I'm short at 18, I'm risking 20 because that's the key daily level. But I'm also planning to be in that for a week. So I need to avoid the chop. If I'm shorting like ASST tomorrow, if this were to be gapping down to like $7, I'm not going to risk to 9. That's the highest odds level that you're not going to get stopped. To risk like after hours high, like to risk as wide as possible and destroy your risk reward is the best way to increase your win rate, because now your risk reward is basically negative, therefore the odds on you getting stopped are low and your win rate will go way higher. If I short ASST with 100 shares at $9 and I'm like, I'm fine with this thing going to 50. The odds on this going to 50 are pretty low. But for me to short at 9 and risk to 50 and risk $41 a share, am I okay risking $4,000? If I am, then sure, take the trade. But I'm not going to be making $41 a share to the downside. I'm only going to be making maybe 5. So it completely shoots the risk reward in the foot, but your win rate is 90-something%. So, if that makes sense. That's kind of how I think about it with something like MRIN. Keep them balanced. Keep the risk reward intact and the odds as best as I can in my favor. In my favor. May the odds be ever in your favor. Good old Effie Trinket. May the odds be ever in your favor. Alrighty. So USAR and GUR, big picture short watches. I've traded these already multiple times. We'll look to put some positions on there with those fall through levels I went over. Navini, I think this is a big picture long idea through these mid 50s. If it can break 56 and hold, I like this for an early entry for possible breakout down the road. I do think this one's fairly dilutive. Because they had some convertible notes, if I recall. December, we had Series A warrants. Oh, but there's none left. Series B warrants. Okay, there's none left. So they must have used them in this run because they were there when I was shorting it. We've got a few more notes at $1.10. It might be, maybe they want to run to those. They do have cash in the bank, so they might not have to dilute. Floor price of the warrants was 65 cents, so they could have executed those Series A and B in that last run. So maybe there isn't as much overhead supply as there was on that day I was shorting it, which bodes well for the long idea. So anyways, bigger picture, long idea there. What else did I have? ASST was the other one. GUR, USAR, Navini, ASST. Watches in tomorrow. I think ASST should be good tomorrow. The crowd, everyone got squeezed. It was super crowded this morning. So, higher the better. But that's what I got. So, we can wrap it up there. I will not see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Josh still likes the way I do it, coming in clutch. Consistency is key with this guy. But yeah, I will not see you guys tomorrow. Watchlist will be back on Sunday, I think. I'm unsure if I'm doing with IU this weekend or if there's somebody else. Don't know. But I will be in Investors Underground tomorrow morning. So anyone in there, feel free to DM me or reach out in the lounge or whatever. But other than that, the rest of you, I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you back on the next watch list. Peace.